you know that if a friend is recommending it, then it's gonna be good, right? Like, I'm not gonna just take recommendations from anyone. It has to be someone that I know, like, and trust. And this is a great way to share someone else's podcast with a friend and give that raving review and let them know, hey, look, I listened to this show. I absolutely love it. You need to check it out. Just creates more raving fans for that other person's podcast. And when they win, we all win. Welcome to another episode of Listeners to Leads, where I'm helping podcasters launch and maintain a lead generating show. I'm your host, Alicia Galati, the CEO and head podcast strategist behind Galati Media, a full-service podcast management company. On this show, you'll hear my guests and I discuss everything it takes to launch a successful podcast and keep it running. If you're ready to get leads, land speaking gigs, and create deeper connections with your audience through your podcast, then this is the show for you. Welcome back to another episode. Today, I am so excited to chat with you about 10 ways to support other podcasters. Podcasting is such a long game, and when you're in it and you've been in it for a while, it can feel very lonely and like you're kind of just talking to yourself. I think this is why our clients really love being able to have us on their team, because we're able to listen to every word. They know that someone is on the other end listening. It's just so much easier to get your thoughts out and communicate effectively when you know there's someone else listening on the other end. So here are 10 ways that you can support other podcasters. Some of them are financially, most of them are not. So we only have 2 that actually are about putting down any type of money. And I stand behind every single one of these ways that you can support other podcasters. And I got this idea for this episode when someone sent me a voice memo in my DMs saying how much they love my show. And I'm going to play that when we get to that point. But I just thought, oh my goodness, like this made me feel so good. I think we need to do an episode on this. So let's go ahead and support each other. Here are my 10 ways that I think that you can support other podcasters today. Number 1, obviously, my favorite of all time is leaving a rating and a review. The reason this is my favorite is because I think that, one, it's not done enough, right? Like, yes, we ask for ratings and reviews all the time, but I think it literally takes a minute or 2 to leave a rating, leave a review, send a comment, send a DM. Like, it doesn't take a lot of our time. So even if you pick one podcast that you listen to, like, it doesn't have to be where you're trying to like butter someone up because you want to be on their show or anything like that. I think it's still a great strategy, and make sure that you're doing it on the platform that you listen to, right? So if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave a rating review on Apple Podcasts. If you listen on Spotify, leave a rating on Spotify and follow them. Find different ways that you're actually using the platforms that you like to use, but you're still able to support these other podcasters that you're already listening to. I don't personally listen to a lot of podcasts, but you better believe that the ones that I listen to, I definitely leave a rating. And I don't use Apple Podcasts, so I can't leave a review, but I'm always happy to shout them out whenever or if ever I have a chance, or if a friend is looking for a recommendation. Which leads me to my next point. Share about a specific episode and what you liked about it, and post it on social media. So this could be literally you sharing it from Spotify to your Instagram stories, or sharing a screenshot of your podcast player, tagging the podcaster. It helps to know that someone else is listening, right? Like that you're not just talking to yourself, that you're not just talking out into the void of the interwebs, right? We want to be able to know that someone hears us, someone is enjoying what we're talking about, and that they're actually getting something out of it. Let them know. Tag them in social media, tag them and let them know, hey, look, I love this episode. And be as specific as you possibly can, because then it just is so much more impactful. It lets them know what's actually working for their podcast and what is resonating most with their audience. Number 3, send a voice memo DM. And I say this, you could literally just send a DM. You don't have to send a voice memo, but a voice memo is so wonderful, especially as podcasters. Like, we understand the power of voice. We understand the power that is behind our voices, and being able to communicate that and say, look, I just started listening to your podcast. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I loved this point that you talked about, or I just found you and I cannot put your podcast down. How incredible would you feel if someone sent that to you? So I'm going to share a voice memo that I received from the host of the Wildly Successful Law Firm podcast. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that we tag her podcast in our show notes, or you can check her out on any of the podcast listening apps that you listen to.
Hi, Alicia and team. I don't know who checks this, but I just wanted to leave a little note. I'm a podcaster. I'm a lawyer, law firm owner, all those things. I came across your podcast and your page last night, actually tonight, and I just wanted to say thank you. You've shared a lot of really insightful information. The episode I'm listening to is how to generate leads with your podcast, and it's very, very helpful. And I just really wanted to send you a note saying thank you. And I'm sending this as a note because I would love it if someone did this for me, for my podcast. And I'm sure maybe you're feeling the same way a little bit too. So I just wanted to say thank you. I have no idea who you are. You're pretty much a stranger. The internet connected us somehow. And I ended up listening to this episode of your podcast and found it super helpful and wanted to drop you a note. Have a wonderful evening, and I hope all is well on your side of the world.
Isn't that incredible? Like, I got that voice memo and I was smiling, like cheesing so hard. And it just made my day. It made my week. And I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing it for. This is why I have a podcast. So send a voice memo to someone today. Like, that is my challenge for you. If you don't take anything else from this, send a voice memo to another podcaster. Let them know how much you love their podcast. Number 4, recommend the podcast to a friend. This is always my favorite way to support other podcasters, because you know that if a friend is recommending it, then it's gonna be good, right? Like, I remember listening to a podcast recently, and I mostly listen to podcasts that are about books. And this person was saying that she does not take book recommendations from just anyone. And it was a friend who had recommended this book they were talking about in this podcast episode. And I thought, oh my goodness, yes. Like, I do not take book recommendations from just anyone, mostly because my list of books that I want to read is over 600 right now, which, if you're thinking like, oh my goodness, Alicia, that is insane. It is, I know, but we're 4.5 months into the year and I've already read 70 books. So I'm going to get through them eventually, but I'm not going to just take recommendations from anyone. It has to be someone that I know, like, and trust. And this is a great way to share someone else's podcast with a friend and give that raving review and let them know, hey, look, I listened to this show. I absolutely love it. You need to check it out. Just creates more raving fans for that other person's podcast. And when they win, we all win, right? Like, it's not a competition. Even if the person has the same type of podcast as you, there's so much collaboration that can happen. And as long as you are showing up as your most incredible self, then you don't need to worry about whatever they're talking about. Like, it doesn't matter. And most people will listen to both of your shows. They're not just going to listen to one. So let's support each other. Okay. Like, really. Okay. Moving on to number 5, do a regular roundup. So maybe once a month, you do a roundup of the podcasts that you're listening to, or what are the latest episodes that you listened to and absolutely loved. This is great to be able to just do like a quick, here's all the people that I love. Here's all the podcasts I listened to. Here are the episodes that I enjoyed. Here's how you can go check them out. And this can be a blog post. It can be a social post. It could be a story. It doesn't matter. It could literally be a reel, just anything that is going to allow you to showcase these other incredible podcasters. And I believe very strongly in I believe it's the law of reciprocity, where what you put out into the universe can come back. And when you put out good energy, good vibes, good, like, supporting other people, it's going to come back to you and you're going to be able to get that support as well. And when people support me, I always want to support them back, right? Or vice versa. So I think it's a great strategy all around. There's not really any losing. Even if they don't promote back your podcast, it doesn't matter. Like, you're still being able to show up as a person that is giving and incredible. And we all want to be able to put that kind of energy out into the world. So a roundup is a great way to do that because you're able to kind of group them all into one shot. You don't have to worry about, like, every week making sure that you talk about your podcast. Like, once a month is perfectly fine. Number 6, if your favorite podcasters or another podcaster is nominated for an award, go ahead and vote for them. A lot of podcasters will put that information on their social media or they will talk about it. So make sure that you're able to support them in this quick and easy free way to vote for them, get them that award, and cheer them on as they're growing their podcast. Number 7, shout them out in the communities that you're in. So if you're in a community that is asking a specific question, go ahead and tag that person, say, hey, so-and-so had this incredible episode about it on their podcast. Definitely go check it out. It was so good. And then tag them. They're going to see that you listen. They're going to see that you're promoting their show. And this other person is getting valuable information that's relevant to the question that they're asking. It's wins all around, right? I'm going to keep saying wins because literally that is all this is just wins for you, wins for them, and being able to support each other in an incredible way. Number 8, you can support them financially. So this could be using a buy me coffee or quick PayPal or any type of donation that you can do, even if it's a Patreon. I'm saying buy me coffee or any type of donations because I understand that you might not have the capacity to financially give every single month like in a Patreon. So even if it's just a quick, hey, look, I bought you a cup of coffee or I sent you this Venmo or whatever, like something that's just thank you so much for the incredible work you're doing and I'm so happy to support you, that's a win. So that's an easy way to one time be able to financially support our other podcasters. Another way to financially support other podcasters is by using their affiliate codes. So this way, you're getting something, right? A thing that you're probably already going to buy anyway. It's not going to be at any additional cost to you. And you're able to still promote them and lift them up and support them in an incredible way. I like to use this whenever I talk about Buzzsprout. You guys know if you've been listening to the podcast at any length, you'll know that I am a ride or die true Buzzsprout fan. And I always talk about if you want to join Buzzsprout, you get an Amazon gift card. I get a little bit of kickback. I like their platform. I think they're incredible. I love their support. I love their community. And I think it's beneficial for you and me if you use them. So that's a great way to promote a product or a service or something that your ideal listeners are actually going to want to use or want to buy. And as a listener who is supporting other podcasters, if you're already going to purchase it, then why not use their affiliate code? I have business friends who will ask me, hey, do you use this platform? And when I say yes, they say, do you have an affiliate code? I'd love to use it. Like, that's incredible. And I love it. And they love it. They get some percentage off. I get some percentage or I get some type of kickback and everybody gets something at the end. So that's a great strategy to use to support other podcasters is by using their affiliate codes. Now, the last one, and obviously there are so many other ways that you can support podcasters, but here are some 10 basic ways. The 10th one is make connections. Now, what I mean by make connections is connecting your podcast friends with other podcast friends, or if you know that a podcaster is looking for a specific type of guest, make a connection with a friend or someone that you know. You're able to then be a go-to person for connecting, and you'll be able to be known for not only what it is that you do or what service you provide or what coaching you do, but also as someone who can make reliable connections and will allow you to stay front of mind, even if it's not specifically for the service that you provide or for the business that you have. You still are able to stay front of mind for other podcasters. And then if they're looking for a guest who does something similar to what you do, you're going to be their first person to go to. And you'll be like, oh, wait, what do you do? And how can I have you on my podcast? Really, it is so beneficial, and everybody is able to win when we are supporting each other. So go ahead and take one strategy, just one, from this episode, and I want you to do it right now. Go support another podcaster in a very quick and easy way where it's not going to take you a ton of time. It's not going to take you a lot of effort. It's literally just you putting great, incredible energy out into the world, and hopefully you will get some of that energy back. Have an incredible week, and I will see you guys next time.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Listeners to Leads. If you found something in this episode valuable, I would really appreciate it if you shared it with a friend who you know would also get value from it. Want to send me a message? My favorite place to hang out is Instagram. You can find me at alicia.galati. Let me know what your favorite takeaway was from the episode. And don't forget, turning those listeners into leads is actually easy.